Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, August the 28th, 8:42 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. We come from an eventful week for Orlando City. Victory against one of the top teams in the West, St. Louis SC. Honestly, I was expecting more of a bite from St. Louis. I think Orlando did a fantastic job overall. I will add that not only Dagger Dan, but Facundo Torres definitely showed up with that brace, and that's what
Hold
IDP
on,
should do.
what?
Right.
We talking about Dagger already? Luis, slow
Exactly.
down,
Yeah.
man. You're gonna be excited.
Yeah. One of the best players indeed for Orlando City, and exciting because things are coming to the end for the MLS, and Orlando looks very promising, showing a great shape, and obviously a great performance overall by everyone. Now, I want to add, we're going to talk about the game against St. Louis. We're going to talk about Charlotte, what's coming up next, the lineup and all of that, as well as we have some rumors coming for a couple of players that we're going to talk about, and some knocks, right, from the get-go. Antonio Carlos still kind of lingering, a knock, and he should be hopefully ready soon. Also, Robin Jansen's been seen training apart from all his teammates. Seems like he's maybe has a little bit of I wouldn't say a knock, but it seems like it's something muscular, like maybe like you um, he's just a little tired. He needs to loosen up a little bit, and I don't think it's nothing serious because I see him running. But honestly, Orlando is also going to miss the game against Charlotte, Wilder Cartagena, due to yellow card accumulation. So we're going to be without Wilder. So it's either going to be Felipe, it's either going to be Dagger at the 8. We'll have to see where Oscar's going to play his pieces. So with that and more, before we go and say hello to Paul and John, I want to tell everyone to keep supporting us. Check us out on Facebook as Loud and Proud Orlando as well. We are live on Twitter, also on YouTube as LPO_podcast. So thank you so much. Give us a thumbs up and click on the notification bell for our notifications. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Now, Paola, how are you? How was everything? How was the game against St. Louis?
I'm doing
Welcome
fantastic
back.
because I'm back with y'all. So Doing great. I spent the day tailgating, doing burgers. John went. I saw the game with John. Um, I was impressed. We were talking, John and I, we were talking the entire game. Like, I think this is the first time that I can see the connection in the front end of the attacking piece for Orlando City. That tiki taka we were missing, we saw that on Saturday that I haven't seen on the entire season for Orlando. So I think the pieces are coming together now. That we could be better, we can. There's definitely room for improvement, but I think Dagger Dan is feeling more comfortable in that position. He said in the post conference he likes the position, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but this has been the best performance that we have seen yet from Tagerdan. So he's improving each game. And John, I know that you want to say something about Dagger, but I think he's getting better and better, and that Swiss knife is coming alive for this team. So I'm doing fantastic. Happy that the boys capitalized those 3 points. For me, it was a 2-0, but VAR always disappoints, but I will take it. 3 points in the bag.
That's right. John, how are you, my friend? A big win for Orlando City puts us fourth in the East.
Yeah. I don't know. I get so excited when you guys start talking about Dagger Dan. We've only just started the pod, and you both mentioned how awesome. I don't. Should I even talk about Dagger Dan? Do I even need to talk
Course.
Do it.
about?
Do it.
I
Do
mean,
it.
all that. You know what's funny is I was actually down seeing my other friends down at the wall when Dagger got that assist for the Torres goal. So I didn't get to like jump all over you and scream Dagger in your face. But yeah, he's playing like some kind of, it's almost like a João Cancelo, Philip Lahm sort of, doing that like what Kyle Smith would do, where it's an inverted wing back. And I think with that situation, they just weren't really marking him. Like there's certain players they would have put out, before they would have told St. Louis, like, look out for this guy. And it seemed like Dagger, they just weren't picking him up as much. They just didn't, you know, they were allowing him that license. So I think he took the space and he said, "Thanks, I'll come in here and I'll lay off a ball to Facu and get that great assist." And I think he's growing into that role. And it's something that when he was filling in there, we thought maybe it's just him filling in, but now it seems more and more likely that he's going to take over that right back role. And that's where he fits in the team. I couldn't think out where he fits in the team. He's found his own spot, and I'm so excited for him. And if he's our new right back, then I think the
I will
sky's the
take
limit
it.
for Dagger.
I agree, and he mentioned on the post press conference, he's just happy to help the team as much as he can. Wherever Oscar sees that there's a need, he's really enjoyed and he's getting very used to that right back role as a false win back. So, I mean, it's definitely I love Kyle Smith, but I think because he's playing, he's been part of his national team, youth level, on the senior level as well. It kind of shows he has more tools in his arsenal. You know what I mean? And that he's able to provide a little bit more than just defending or very hustle play like Kyle Smith has us accustomed us to. I think with Dagger, he's a little bit more better in the execution. You know what I mean? When it comes to
I mean, as long as he's solid defensively, he offers a
correct.
lot more going forward than Kyle Smith does. Like that's just the basics of it. So what Oscar was getting Kyle to do, Dagger is able to do, more completely. I would say, like he's able to be more of an attacking, inverted wing back. He kind of roams. Like if you're watching, and he was asking for the ball, and he was playing 1-2s, and I just think he's growing in confidence, and Oscar's getting more confidence in him, and not only going forward defensively, he had a very, very good game. If you're looking on FootMob, he was our highest rated defender in the back line. So I think that also goes overlooked. I saw 2 or 3 times where he won the ball back, making challenges, closing guys down, good tackles. So I think we shouldn't overlook that part of his game as well.
Correct. Let's do some comments. Joshua Tall, Facu had a great game. I was so happy we won. I thought Jensen and Rodrigo played pretty good. Also, that was a much needed win that we got, and hopefully we beat Charlotte Wednesday. Also, it's great to be tied for second. Victor Sanchez, hello, vamos Orlando. John, your guy Dan is playing great, says Victor Sanchez. That's right. JC Beast 95, vamos Orlando. Great game this weekend all around. Correct. Victor Sanchez, how much did Orlando paid for Dagger Dan? That's right. Probably not as much, but
I don't think as much. I'm trying to look for it, but I don't think we paid that.
we can look in the MLS salaries.
Is that one of those undisclosed?
MLS
Well, we look at his
salaries.
salary, but we can't look at how much we paid right there.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't
but,
say. It's questionable.
Yeah, I don't. Dagger. Oh man, I hate this website.
It
Yeah,
says
you
that
gotta
the
solve
market
Googling.
value at the time of the transfer it was
So-
125,000 euros.
So he gets paid guaranteed compensation of 195,000, base salary of 160.
Yeah, but what did we pay for him? Like, what was the
Yeah.
transfer fee? Is what they were asking. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
It says, do you think Ursa could start versus Charlotte? It says Joshua Tall.
It could have
It
been
could
on
be
free.
possible.
You know?
Yeah, he I think we're gonna see Junior Urso debuting against Charlotte. Now, this was not the game for Junior Urso, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are saying that, I dived into the Facebook realm. I should have not done that. But some people were saying that Urso was like, he's back. He's the best thing since sliced bread. And yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's just getting his feet wet with the team again. You know what I mean? He he looked a little sloppy, in my opinion, coming in. It kind of cost Orlando a couple of turnovers when he came in. But again, it's going to get better. So, and we truly need him now because Wilder will be missing the game against Charlotte without, with a yellow card accumulation. And obviously, Wilder's been a very important part of the squad. I think the double pivot, it's been the key of success for Orlando City. And without Wilder in his, we need to get used to playing without Wilder and have the same impact with Junior, because the days are coming up for qualifiers to start and we're going to be without Wilder. So we need to start getting that thread. I think Charlotte is a beatable team, and hopefully, he's able to get used to all of that. Your opinion in Kara? Rumors, he's leaving. Is he leaving? We'll talk about it in just a little bit. But
just on that double pivot for a second there, Luis.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
interesting you talked about that because Alonso posted the interview with Junior talking about, his coming back to the club and how awesome he settled back in and everybody's so welcoming. And he was talking about the double pivot and how obviously someone's going to play because of the situation. And he was also talking about the fact that he could also play the 10 that Oscar talked to him about playing as the 10 as well. So I think it's most likely that we're going to see him coming in. But he obviously recognizes that Cesar and Wilder have a very good partnership. He even used that word specifically. So I think he knows right now that he's the backup and that he's okay with that. It seems he's fine with that.
I'm
And
just
he's gonna
afraid.
have to do a job when called upon, and this is one of those occasions.
Yeah, I'm just afraid to put him at the 10 and have Felipe Martins with Cesar.
I'm not saying he's going to be the 10 this time. I'm just saying that I
Right.
think in the future he might be used there. Like he kind of was coming on.
He
there,
kind of,
like,
yeah, he
in a
kind of,
little bit. Like, he's
he
more
was.
of a. He's pushing forward more than Wilder or.
He
Cesar does.
he was attacking more. He was
Yeah.
being more forward.
I think
That's
I
right.
think Oscar wants to use him as a more attacking
Makes
player
sense.
than defensive player, right? I think if we're thinking about that, Felipe, if you're saying if it was this game against St. Louis that we had to put one of them in, right, then I would think it would be Felipe. But like you said, more likely to be Urso because he's a bit more attacking and we're playing Shaw.
And then, we're also going to say, I'm also going to say, I believe that in the first half, Orlando, it was a back and forth game. St. Louis definitely, that guy Jackson, that the defensive midfielder they have, Jackson, the guy who plays in Wilder's position. That kid was like everywhere on the field. He was pressing high. The high press of St. Louis was actually overwhelming in the first few minutes of the game, forcing Orlando to make a lot of turnovers, in my opinion. And I'm like, yo, they're gonna try to score a couple. You know what I mean? But ended up 0-0. I think the center back duo did a great job. I think Rodrigo and Robin did a great job with Joaquini. I think they definitely knew where he was, kind of how he plays, and also Joaquini was kind of a little silent, right? He wasn't really asking for the ball like he used to in past St. Louis games that I've seen. He wasn't very vocal at all. It was just very an offish game for him, in my opinion, and I think they took advantage of that. Orlando took advantage of that, and the highest praise for Facundo Torres. I mean, he took control of the game. He was the pacemaker. He was literally the heart of the team. He scored a brace. He was influential in the attacking third. What a performance by Facundo Torres, Paola. What are your thoughts regarding his performance against St. Louis?
I mean, I think there's a connection between Dagger and him, right? And it's formulating in each game, but phenomenal performance about from Facundo, like in each game. And we were like, he didn't start like this in the beginning of the season, so we were like doubting, right? We were like, what's going on? A new baby or something? And no, like he adjusted, and for me, another great performance from him. And actually, I was talking to his dad before the game, and I told him, I think Facundo, this is gonna be Facundo Torres game, because in each game that we play against a big team, he like grows. So he's like, okay, this is my game. And he's always trying to help the team. And I told his dad, hey, I think this is Facundo's Torres. He's gonna score tonight. And he scored two. So when John when he scored the second, John and I, we looked at each other, and then I'm like, ooh, he's gonna get the third. And John is like, ooh, a hat trick. And I'm like, oh my god, I wanna see that. But no, unfortunately, almost a hat trick for Facu, but
I think it's
um
you, Paula. I think if you don't come to the game, then we'll see a hat trick.
Can you imagine that? No, no, I'm not gonna be there for the Columbus game. Alec is going by himself. I'm gonna be in Puerto Rico again. But can you imagine that they score a hat trick in that game and I'm not there?
No, I mean
Like going.
it's about. Yeah, I mean it's bound to
Go
happen. I
ahead, go
believe,
ahead.
Paola. I think it's bound to. I think it's bound to happen.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I mean he's playing in a very high level, and I'm so happy that he's being that guy, right? I mean, typically after a player goes through some of the things he's gone through in his personal life with his new father, being a new father and things like that, you would think that would kind of affect his performance, but I think it's actually motivated him a little bit even more to play at this level, and it's showing, right? So and his aura and his playing ability is being very contagious. So it's passing on to all the other players, and as well as the people that are coming off the bench. So I'm delighted. I don't know, what are your thoughts there, John Faku?
I mean, I think he's like Paula said, he's just the beginning of season. He's just kind of slow, and then it sort of warms up, and now he's hot, and we need him to be red hot for the rest of the season. We need him to be that guy for us. He should be that guy for us. I think if it's not him, who else right now? Let's be honest. So we need Faku to be Faku, right? Every game. And that's why every game I predict him to score, because he seems to find a way, whether it's from a penalty or whether, he creates one himself. But this game, I think the difference for me is when they switch him to the left. That's what happened. And I was joking with Paula, and I say like it's Zoolander. You ever seen that, Luis?
Yeah,
Where it's like
yeah.
I can't go right. Like that's for me is Faku. Like he's so one sided, one footed. And I mean, I love the guy, but he just can't do anything with his right foot. Teams figure that out, and so when he's on the right, cutting in on his left, they just stopped him the first half, and then they moved him over to switched him and Angulo, and then that creates problems for teams, and that's exactly what happened with Angulo dragging the runner and Dagger making the assist for Facu. So I think sometimes it's about finding what in that game for Facu works, right? Different things work for him in different games. Sometimes he just needs to dribble at guys. Sometimes he needs to be passing. But we need him to figure it out for us. Like in years gone past when we need Kara and we need Kaká and we needed Nani to be that guy. Now every game we need Facu to be that guy, and he's coming into hot form, so hopefully he will be for the rest of the season.
Sure, completely agree. Couldn't agree more. I'm hoping that Facu continues this level of play, and it's only going to help us. We're tied for second, guys. If you really think about it, we're tied for second. So
when do the other teams play? I was going to see, like New England, is it, and Philly that we're tied for? When do they play that game in hand?
Let me see.
They play on Wednesday too. They do. But at some point, they're going to play another game because I think they have a game on us.
Yeah. So Toronto plays against Philadelphia. So we're hoping for Toronto to do the miracle there. We also have Inter Miami Nashville Part 2. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then who else is above us?
New England
New England plays Austin. No.
On Wednesday night, New England play Red Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. New England play Red
Philly
Bulls.
plays Toronto. So Philly probably going to win and beat Toronto. Maybe New England slip up against the Red Bulls and we can get over them if we beat.
And then we'll be top 3, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
that would be sweet.
I'm gonna start drinking that definitely. And I invite everybody. I was gonna bring a jar of Kool-Aid today, so everybody could drink the Kool-Aid, the feel-good Kool-Aid.
You gotta drink that feel-good Kool-Aid.
I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna chug it. If we win against Charlotte, I promised that if Cincinnati would beat Miami, I was gonna eat Skyline chili. Now, if Orlando beats Charlotte away, I will drink Kool-Aid live.
Wait, did you eat the Skyline chili? Did that happen?
No, because they lost. Right.
Right. You were saying if they beat us.
Yeah. No. If Cincinnati would have beat Miami, would have gone through.
So now, if we beat Charlotte, you're gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid straight up.
All right.
Straight up.
So send me some. I want some.
All right. So I want to talk about Joe Dickerson, right? So Joe Dickerson,
Joe.
Somebody that it's just just to mention a little bit. Look at his professional debut. That's Philly Orlando 2017. That was his professional debut. So he debuted for Orlando, which makes me realize pro puts rookie referees in the MLS. But well, that's just another story. And well, Joe Dickerson has some controversial refereeing, but in this case, I think honestly that goal, because people are saying that that the ball was in and it was not in. It was completely out. I was right there. The press box is right above that line, and we saw the ball going out.
I tried to watch it on the replay, and I just couldn't see it slow enough. Like, it's so hard. Like, I need like a slow-mo, zoomed-in shot of that line to be able to determine if that thing is in or not.
No, that to me, it went to the end line. And I mean, it just came. It was out of bounds.
Yeah, there's a picture running in Facebook that it was out of bounds.
And it was out of bounds.
People are saying it looked like it arched out and back into play from one angle to me. So I'm like, was it in and then he kicked it out and back in? Like it looped out and in.
No, I agree, and I just feel like it was a bad call in my opinion there. I mean, it was out of bounds. Like we were all like, what's it called, Michael Citro and all those guys from the press was like, yo, that ball went out. And it's like, yeah, that ball went out. And then they did the VAR and there's like penalty. I'm like, I know, it's like it's a goal. I'm like, oh jeez, here we go again, getting screwed, right?
So,
But
the thing
no,
with
go ahead.
VAR that annoys me here, Luis, is like, okay, is it in? Is it out? Right? They're always talking about it should go with the call on the field unless it's clear and obvious from the VAR. Now, I don't know which angle Joe Dickerson saw, but if he's saying the same angles that we're saying, then that is not clear and obvious to overturn.
Then that's
call on
Apple
the
TV's
fields.
fault.
The call on the field is it was out, right? So does he see something that shows him that it's clear and obvious that it stayed in? That's what he needed to have
that's the
seen
question.
to overturn that call. So that's the real question here. Is like, is Joe Dickerson wrong? Is VAR wrong? Is this whole thing just not being used right?
Maybe
don't know.
they are wrong. But then I'm telling you, and I put it on Twitter. Charlotte, St. Louis played with two keepers because on that penalty for Orlando, that dude straight up dived to get the ball with his hands. It was a blatant handball. I mean, there's no way that would have not been counted as a penalty. I was scared though.
That's
was
all
scared.
on Joe for not seeing that the first time. Like, come
Right.
on.
Like I was scared for Orlando's life because I was like, okay, this guy's calling VAR. He's gonna go and he's gonna be like, if he sees something else, I'm calling a messy conspiracy. Like I'm going down there and I'm gonna go get that mural. I'm gonna go get that purple paint. I'm gonna get that purple
Luis,
paint.
you got to ask Paula, who was responsible for starting the VAR chant in our part of the stadium.
Oh, who started?
That was
the
awesome. That was awesome though. I was like VAR, and then all the crowd. I'm like, yeah. But no,
I don't think
like
the
that was
St.
that
Louis
wasn't-
fan behind us was chanting VAR.
and that
yeah.
man was quiet after the first half.
He suddenly went all quiet after we scored
He
that
went
second
all
goal.
quiet.
Luis,
I
who
even
knew?
forgot about him, John, to be honest. But he was like, "Oh my God, we score! That's definitely a goal." I'm like, shut up. You haven't been talking for the last 45 minutes, so shush.
I
No,
turned
but
around and told him that we've been screwed for 10 years. He's only been screwed for one, so you can calm down.
and he didn't even like say anything. He's like, touche. Okay. No, but that was in front of Joe. Like, I don't know how he would have missed. And we were far, John. We were far, far away. And we saw
could
that
see
handball
it from miles away.
from miles away. So
and
The whole stadium saw it, and that's why the whole stadium chanted for VAR.
yeah, it was a handball. Those are some comments. It says, yeah, the ball was out for St. Louis. It shouldn't have counted, but glad they gave us a PK. Joe Dickerson. So I heard Messi's not playing in Orlando on the 24th. Like I don't give a
a fudge.
Well-
Oh my God! I please hope he doesn't come. Not just because I don't want to play him because it'll be easier for us, just because it'll be hilarious for all these people who spend crazy amount of money to see Messi and he doesn't come.
And what happened? Look. I was walking through Gate D, rushing on the scorching heat, rushing to get checked in, right, for media. I want to say hello to everybody there in media. They were fantastic, like always. And I'm just there, I'm walking by, and then I see in Gate D 3 Messi shirts of Inter. I'm like, is this an Inter game? Is this an Inter Miami game?
But wait, the question is, they were Inter Miami shirts or
Yes.
Messi shirts? Oh my God, oh Lord.
They were Inter Miami Messi shirts on
Paula,
Gate D.
didn't you see the one in the club that I
And
pointed
then-
out? Just
Oh,
running
yeah,
around,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
guy
I
in the
was
club
like-
just wearing
it
an
was a-
Inter Miami Messi. I'm like, what
It was
are
a
you
kid.
doing?
I'm
like-
like, what are you doing?
And then there was another lady I saw with an Argentinian shirt too, with a Messi shirt. I was like,
Yeah, that was one
Well,
of my
what?
friends.
oh,
Yeah, I
Well,
posted
I said,
Paul's
okay,
friend on the
whatever.
internet wearing
No,
a
but I
Messi
cooked
jersey.
her. Like, you can ask John. I was like, don't hug me. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing with that shirt
Paula
here?
roasted her. In fact, if you look at the photo, you can see Paula just basically giving it to her.
I kind of
Doing her a
feel,
tech talk.
that these people were, they got tickets. They were not the real owners of those tickets, so they bought them from those people, and they went to see an Orlando game just to maybe see like how bad we are, because that's the apparent feeble mind of these people, that they're dead, almost dead last in the standings, but we're worst and we're fourth. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make any sense. But I just kind of
I
feel like
they
they
just do it to. They're so messy that they want to like show their messiness everywhere, even when it's nothing to do with Messi. Like, go away, please.
but overall they saw Orlando limiting one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. And we definitely need to be very proud about that. I'm going to say it. We limited. I mean, St. Louis has one of the highest scoring offenses in the league, and we limited them. And you know why we limited them? Because we score first. So we need to get used to scoring first. Because once we score first, we control the pace of the game. And if we don't score first, then that's when we start scrambling for shit.
I was
It could
worried in
go
that
both
first half.
ways. It could go both ways, and we have been in that situation, but it never goes well.
At the end,
So
at
I'm
the end
with
of the
you.
half, I was kind of worried, because I knew what this, this St. Louis, and we talked about it in the preview. This St. Louis team has very good players, and Vasilev started becoming a little bit more attacking minded in the second half. But then Orlando scored the first one, and then it was it for them. They completely Orlando dominated the game after that, and they could have scored a couple more. And again, the lack of having somebody up there, that would take the advantage of. I know Duncan McGuire is, people are knowing that he's the starting nine, so they're knowing how to mark him. They're knowing how to go, mark him throughout 90 minutes. But obviously, he's on a little drought, right? So let's hope that changes against Charlotte, especially, and maybe there's a new partnership brewing. Maybe with Duncan and maybe Junior. You know what I mean? Maybe he's able to make Duncan a little bit better. At that point, but the news broke about potential rumor, right, John, regarding Urgent Kara, correct? Think
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how reliable this source is. I'll just say that straight out. Like this MLS source.
Yeah,
That's
right
it
here.
come
Let me
from. It's on
you
you pull it up, Luis.
can I share it?
Yeah, sure.
So this is it's an NYCFC source first and foremost.
Yeah. Which in the past has reported some things that have found not to be true. However, I do think there might be some truth to this. I think that potentially, they're looking for somewhere for Urchan to go back to in Europe. I think he's not really happy here. I think obviously he can't get in the team right now. He misses his wife. He just had a baby. They're still back in Europe, in Austria, I believe. So I think for him, he would like to go back. And he has Turkish heritage, and this is a Turkish Super League team. I think some people think this team's thing is done. I don't think it's done. I think what they're trying to do is find somewhere for him in Turkey or maybe in Austria or somewhere in Europe for him to go before the European windows close in like 2 or 3 days. So I think that's the challenge. Whether it's going to happen or not depends. I think we paid a lot of money for him, Luis, right? Like 8 million, if I believe.
8 million. Yeah, it's around 8 million.
And so I think a lot of these teams in Turkey are not shelling out 8 million for a striker anytime soon. Maybe 3 or 4 million. So it depends how allowing him to go for, how much we're willing to lose, and how much these teams are potentially going to go up to pay. Like this team, Samsunspor, like are not a very big club in Turkey. I
Yeah,
don't imagine they have a huge amount of money. This is
right
not
here.
a
Look.
Champions League team in Turkey, right? This is a smaller club.
So you guys want to see where Samsunspor is? It's right
Yeah,
here.
they're no Fenerbahce or Besiktas. They're
They're third. They're
they
gonna be
probably
playing.
recently promoted, I'd imagine, the last few years or so.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
gonna
think
be
they have the funds to really make this deal happen. I don't know. It depends, Luis, how much we're willing to let him go for, right? How much are the Wilfs and Luis Musi willing to just be like, okay, you can go and we'll write off 8 mil, right? I think we need 3 or 4 mil back. If it's me, at a minimum, right? Or you hold on to him and try and get more for him in January.
I think that's probably going to be in my opinion, that's probably going to be it. Because you talk about 8 million, and like you said, this team right here, Samsunspor, and I know about this team because they targeted a lot of Peruvian players. Their budget is pretty low. They're going to Bolivia, Venezuela, Peru, Ecuador, and that's where the players are lower than $1 million. So it makes sense, right?
Like 3 or 4 million would be if he was going to go to like a championship team or like a French team or like an Italian team. Like there's not a lot of big transfers of that amount of money into Turkey. Not for a team of that size.
So I do want to say, and again, I'm not here to discredit this colleague's info. You know what I mean? Because I also have an outlet, and I would hate for people to discredit my source. But obviously, when you say that the deal's close, like how close is the deal? You know what I mean? Like, and it shows here interest, right? So I could show Orlando has shown interest for a couple of players in the past, right? But it doesn't mean that they signed them, right? You know what I mean? So so it is what it is. I feel that Orlando's maybe looking for Kara to look for a greener pasture somewhere else, and I think the player is keen as well. But I don't know if it will be this team too. Like you said, John, I agree with you on that.
Maybe I'm wrong. Looking back at their recent transfers, they have actually spent a bit of money. Maybe they've just suddenly got funding, or they're trying to become a bigger club because they spent Oliver Nisham. Do you remember him? He was a guy, he's a French guy, midfielder who's been around the championship. They just signed him this window from Swansea for 2.9 million. They just signed another guy from Galatasaray. But it looks like these guys were free transfers.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're spending money. I think they've got wage budget, but I don't think they're, shelling out big money. So yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. So, we'll see where it takes Kara. I do believe that he doesn't seem that he's happy here. And I feel like it's because of family. It's not so much of the organization. I think it's because of, being a family man, you kind of have to, you want to be near your newborn baby, right? So I kind of understand him in that case. There is a couple of players I'm going to say, that may be available, when it comes to center backs. Alexander Callens is looking for a way out of Girona, former NYCFC center back. He also plays the left back position. I'm just saying right there, in case you guys are, looking there, a little wink, you know what I mean? But when it comes to attackers, right now, without Ercan, that's where we saw Jacqueline in this last game. We saw Jacqueline making a debut, and he didn't really. He didn't score, but I think he gave. I think he came out trying to prove something, right? Trying to prove that he can be that 9 behind Duncan McGuire. I know how you felt about his performance when he came in the second half, John.
Really, I wanted to get Paulo's opinion on Jacqueline because I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested on what she thinks about him and also about like whether he can fill if we lose Kara. Do we
Yeah.
feel comfortable with Jacqueline coming in to kind of fill because we can't sign anyone, Luis, right? You know, like the transfer window is done for us. So Kara can go, but we're not replacing Kara this
Of course.
window. So we have to find that somewhere else, which, you know, like this game, Kara wasn't playing, so Jacqueline came off the bench, like you said. And I think had a pretty good game, but I want to get Paulo's
He had
opinion
a
on it.
15-minute solid game. For like, we have never see him for so many minutes playing for the team, right? So we always see him scoring in OCB, but OCB and the MLS league are two separate things, right? But he was showing, like Luis said, I want to prove something to Oscar. So he was in the box trying to defend and help the defense, the center backs, because I think Jansen pick up something because John was like, why Jansen is walking in the field? And I'm like, oh Lord, that's not a great thing to look at.
I
But
was
he was,
very unhappy about that.
yeah, he was like, oh, why Jansen is walking? And I'm like, I don't know, he probably pick up something. He's like, but look at him, he's in the John was pissed. John was pissed
Look,
at
as
that. But
an Englishman, if you see your centre back hanging out at the top of the field, like sometimes our centre backs do this, and Jansen was just hanging out up there.
no, yeah, he was
And he's
walking.
just
He was
slowly
literally like in the
walking
mall.
back. I'm like, and they have the ball. If you know, if we lost the ball,
We would have been
anyway.
cooked. But
I wanna-
Schlegel was there.
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
wanna
but back to Jacqueline. Sorry about that, Luis. But he did a key pass to what his name? Enrique. That Enrique
Yeah,
was
Ramiro, that's
able
right.
to go down with a defensive left back from St. Louis and grab that last free kick that we had. I thought that it was a penalty, to be honest. I haven't looked at the highlights to see if he was inside the box when he got hit or just in that line. But I think he was solid for those 15 minutes. And if we lost Ercan Kara, I'd rather lost him now and free that DP spot that he's not playing right now with the team. And Gaston Gonzalez can be back at soon. I don't know when he could be back, but he's gonna be back and he can play forward too. So we have super utilities, versatile players that can cover Ercan Kara that he's not right now doing something for the team. So
Yeah, so let's keep in mind that here I want to thank Alonso Contreras for the video. He was there at the training today at the training session, and obviously Jansen was doing he was jogging around the field. He was doing different activities apart from his teammates because he's probably got a knock. Now Antonio Carlos, we still don't know how if he may play next game. Everything indicates that he might, and we're gonna have Rodrigo Schlegel. Now Rodrigo Schlegel was solid in this game for sure. The last game against St. Louis, he had a couple. He was a little slow in my opinion a couple times. The usual, but Charlotte has already punished us with him as a center back, and we truly need to. I mean, they know how to play us, so we cannot fall for the same trap. You know what I mean? So I think he needs to stay in position and be a little bit more conservative when it comes to marking some of the players, and maybe have the wings do that back and forthness because he was doing a lot of that against St. Louis. He's carrying the ball almost to the midfield. And I really don't want to see him do that against Charlotte. Not because I feel like Charlotte may score, but they're gonna have Enzo Copetti again. They're gonna have their top wingers, and they've punished us, and that's why Charlotte beat us at Exploria. So we got to make sure that we're on point now. But definitely knocks are going to occur. The good thing about Orlando is that they have depth right now. So if in case Rodrigo picks a knock, we have the OCB guys that are ready to play too, right, John? So I mean, how do you feel about this little, especially in the back line, right? There may be a little bit of a switch. I know Holiday also had minutes against St. Louis, so it was good to see him.
I think it's also another example. Charlotte last week beating LA, right? It's like obviously they're a good team. Like they're not as when they first joined the league like last year, they're kind of a bit of a whipping boy and they're starting to figure it out. And now, like they got that win against us at Exploria and then we lost to them in the Open Cup. So, I think it's time for some revenge, Luis, right? And now we're hot. Like we played them twice earlier in the season and we were not really, we were hot and cold and they got us on the bad day twice. And now I think we are on a very hot streak. I think what's interesting is in this game against LA, they had 63% ball possession, right? So that's kind of what we want to do is hold the ball. So how is Oscar going to approach that, right? If they're, we're going to go into their house, are we going to try and hold the ball as well? Or are we going to be like a counter team? What's the play here? I think we should just try and, possess them just as well. That they can do it as well. I don't think that their team is any more talented than ours, Luis. I think they have very good wingers. I think you're right about that. I think they're dangerous on the wings, and that can be a problem for us with, not always having the best fullbacks. And back then, remember, we were having real problems with fullbacks, right? Like we were a problem with left back. That now we've got a real left back. We got some stable positioning there. Maybe this is one that Dagger might have to sit. Maybe Kyle gets brought in for this one if we're worried about wing backs and want to play a more defensive fullback position. I think we just have to watch out for that play and those crosses. It can be a problem for us. We're not always the best at dealing with crosses from the wide areas as our center backs. So overall, I think we are due for revenge. I think the boys remember what happened in the Open Cup. I think they're now ready to go and play Charlotte in a completely different mentality than before. So hopefully they're not our bogey team. I don't want to lose to Charlotte 3 times in a year.
No, me neither.
That would be very uncool. So if we don't win now, then I don't know what's going on. And Charlotte are laughing at us already this year, but they're going to be laughing even harder if they take 3 wins away from us.
Yeah, of course. And then we need to maintain that momentum. I mean, we're tied for second. I mean, the only reason why we're fourth is because of goal difference. So we just need to keep that up. We just need to keep winning. And the good thing about Orlando right now is they depend on themselves, right, Paola? I mean, we depend on us. We don't depend on other results like Miami. You know what I mean? We depend on us, right, Paola?
And Urso said it, like the team is different, has a different mentality this year than last year, because he said that last year they were worried about the other team. Now they're like looking at themselves like we're capable of winning, let's win, and they have that winning mentality. Also, we're different when the first time that we played against Charlotte in the US Open Cup, I think we went overconfident that we were gonna win that game. So that's why I don't know, we slept. I think the third one is the lucky charm to win this game, and we're coming in hot, like John said. And I believe probably Smith can start this game because Dagger needs to rest, because we have a super opponent on Saturday against Cincinnati that they're hot too. So I don't know. We can see some changes here, some from the bench starting over the starters, but again, we're a different team, we're a different mentality. Hopefully we can get that win on Wednesday.
I agree. Victor Sanchez, thank you so much for watching us. I appreciate it, Victor. Hey, if Orlando beats St. Louis, they can beat Charlotte. I completely agree. But Orlando has We could beat like Real Madrid, but then we lose against like DC United. You know what I mean? It has happened to us before, and I think that's one thing that Paula said just now, that it's changing in this team, that we're actually now focusing on we're believing that we can definitely do this. You know what I mean? Like, and so aside of that Miami game that everybody brings up everywhere you go, oh, you lost against Miami. It's like, no, man.
So did everyone else.
Exactly right. It is annoying because I get it every night, every night at 10:30. I get it. Oh yeah, you're going with Orlando. What? You won one cup. You know how many cups Messi's gonna win this year? 2. And he just got signed. You know what I mean? So it is like that. So I believe that Orlando, though, despite all of that clout that's happening around them, they are definitely believing that they can definitely do this. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of Jacqueline coming in and being like a 1-2 punch, making some plays. Dagger, I like the way Dagger, not only he obviously attempts to try to make some attacking plays, but he helps in marking. He's a big help, threading back and trying to also help recovering the ball and things like that in transition for the other team. So, there's a lot of positives out there that we're missing here. But anyways, let's do the lineup for Charlotte. I don't know if you guys want to do this?
Yeah, let's go for
definitely.
it.
All right, let's do it. All right, so you got Galese, right? I think we all agree, correct?
And
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking joking.
And then who's gonna be your right back? I think we're going for Dagger.
I think so. I feel
Okay.
like Kyle wasn't lighting it up, right? And Mikey's still not 100%. He just came in for this game, so it doesn't make sense to me not to go with Dagger again. And he had a killer game, so
yeah,
give another one. But at some point, we're gonna have to rotate, Luis, because these games, like,
right? How many?
We will see some changes in the next few games, I'm sure.
Also, how many times has Kyle started too? You know what I mean? So he's probably he needs that time off. You know what I mean?
I think that's partly why we're seeing his performances decline at this part of the season. It's like sometimes he needs a little, we ask a lot of a guy that isn't necessarily the starting guy.
And then we have Antonio Carlos and Rodrigo Antonio Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, Jansen's out, right?
We don't know. But
he was training on his own. That's so sad.
Based on the availability report for Orlando City for St. Louis, Antonio is still like out. Right? Yeah.
So Jansen.
So Jansen is maybe
questionable now.
Right. I will say Jansen.
Schlegel
Smith probably.
I will say Schlegel is questionable.
Oh dear.
No, sorry. I will say Jansen. Jansen is questionable. Yeah.
Exactly. Because Jansen is.
I mean, Antonio is going to be back.
I don't doubt it that he's going to be like.
Look, let's
this is an L. I gotta say, guys, if we're playing Schlegel and somebody else, then this is an L.
Oh man, you have to believe, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, believe, man.
I'm gonna send you that.
I do think that Schlegel had a much better game. I do want to say that he had a much better game last game.
No.
I just think about it all season. We have not seen Schlegel and X partnership. Like it's always been Jansen and Schlegel or Schlegel and Antonio, or like it's been a combo of those three. So who is the other guy if we have to play another guy?
Obviously, Smith.
Kyle Smith's not a center back. Sorry,
but he has played center back before.
He has, but he's not a center back. He's
not
tall enough. He doesn't jump. This is Paula. I've been saying all year, God forbid the day when we don't have our two center backs.
You have Thomas Williams.
We have Thomas Williams, but
Kibunguchi, man. This is if anybody, it's a chance for Kibunguchi.
Kibunguchi. There you go. Look, personally, I believe Jansen's gonna make it. So
one of them has to make it.
Yeah, I will go. Rodrigo, and then I will go Robin. Okay.
So why is Jansen out? Is it yellow card?
Well,
as well?
he's not out. He's
No,
just
he picked up
doing.
something in the.
Yeah,
in
he
the
picked up
game.
something. I mean, he's kind
That's
of
why he was
sore. You know what I
walking.
mean? He's sore.
So
He's
he
kind
was
of
doing
sore.
his own training routine.
His own training
Light
routine,
training, probably.
light
most likely.
training,
But
light
not
training,
actually injured, just light training.
light training. That's right.
He's
So
just
you know,
Yes,
tired.
John.
He's just
You have
tired.
faith.
y'all.
You
he's
have
just
faith.
tired.
Well, I think that's obviously because we don't have another center back. Like,
Right.
can't
Where-
rotate
where-
guy
yeah,
if we don't
I
have
mean-
another center back.
Right? We're in thread, right? We're in thread. So
Does Dagger
Rodri and
play center back? He probably does, you know.
Who?
Dagger plays everything.
I was gonna say if it's not Dagger,
remember
then
when we
put
signed
Cement.
him? He said, I played every position for my club in Iceland but center back and goalkeeper.
Wow.
Well, this is his time, buddy.
And then another player that has been playing phenomenal, Rafael Santos. What
Oh,
an
yeah.
improvement! Like, so I'm going for this back four. I don't know if you guys like it. I think that's what we got.
Yeah.
So
And I want to say
Yeah.
Schlegel had a much better game. My freak out there was not because Schlegel was going in. It was because Schlegel was going in with TBD, which made me concerned.
and then the attacking third, to me, it's going to be Cesar. Right. Then you're gonna have Urso playing for Wilder, and then you're gonna have Mauricio, and then Facundo. Then you're gonna have Ivan, which he's been playing. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't picked up a knock the way he's playing. And up
Don't
front,
jinx him.
Jack Davies.
Hey, man, he's got 15 goals. He is a leading goal scorer. He deserves to start at some point.
Well, maybe Duncan
I mean,
McGuire.
probably not in MLS, but, maybe like a.
So, do you guys agree with this? I agree. I think
Yeah.
that's what Oscar gonna put in. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, so this is a serious question. Since Urso said that he's not 100%, do you think that he's gonna start on this game?
He will
I
be 100%.
He will be
I think
okay.
it depends how defensive Oscar wants to be. I think that's the choice how he looks at Urso versus Felipe in that position, right? It's you
I
want
see
more
more
defensive,
Urso
you
as an
pick
attacking,
Felipe.
right?
If
And
you,
then Felipe
right, if you
more
want more
as an
attacking, you
defensive.
pick Junior. And I think against Charlotte, like Luis said, we need to be a bit more aggressive. So
Yeah, we need to be more aggressive, and I think Urso can definitely add some of that. Mauricio had a fantastic game against St. Louis too, so I think Mauricio is going to be part of our attack. Ivan and Facu, I don't think we've replaced them in a long time. I'm concerned a little bit more for Ivan. I think Facundo can handle it. Come on, man, you're the DP. You gotta. If Nani did it, you could do it, Facu. For so many years, we couldn't survive without Nani. So I'm sure Facu could do it. And then Duncan up top. Maybe this is the game. Then he starts, getting hot again. Maybe a hat trick. Man, if Duncan gets a hat trick, that you're gonna have your second fanboy moment, John.
I feel like that could be very real. I feel like he is probably kicking himself. He hasn't scored in 3 games now. So from what I get from the feeling, Duncan's a very ambitious young man.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's probably annoyed more than anybody that he hasn't scored. And I think he'll be looking at this game as a definite sort of I want revenge from the other losses.
I
I
agree.
think also the center back. I think that's what matters to me is like what are the center backs doing? Are they actually following him and tracking him well enough? And that's a huge part of it. But they have figured out that he's a threat and they do mark him. But also I think historically, Luis, Oscar's systems are not striker-based systems, right? We always see a lot of winger goals. We see a lot of defensive mid goals. See a lot of goals from, deep. Necessarily, we don't always see those sort of over the top, running striker goals as much. So I think maybe we're just kind of seeing the inevitable change where Duncan gets marked, and then therefore the space opens up for Facu and Angulo, etc. Right? Whereas at the beginning of the season, it was more like Duncan is able to get away from defenders and create space. Now it seems like he's a little bit better covered because they know what they're dealing with. But he's still doing the job. He's making the runs. He's doing everything he should be doing. I don't think anybody's going to be critical of Duncan over these last 3 games. I don't, maybe there's a few touches that weren't the best. Maybe there's a pass here or there that we missed, but I don't think he's having a bad time. I just think he's not lighting the world on fire like he was before. So whatever he needs to do to get back to that, I'm sure he'll figure it out, and I'm sure Duncan will be scoring again in no time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Duncan's been a very important piece of a puzzle for Orlando. So I have no doubt that he's going to come back. We just got to be a little patient, you know what I mean? But we just got to keep winning. I don't care who scores. And I think that's also how the team thinks, right? We really don't care who scores. We just want to win. And imagine if they get this W against Charlotte, Orlando goes 3rd. Then we have I think if we beat Cincy at their own house, I mean, that is definitely like I'm gonna start singing the Messi song, when for the World Cup. Muchacho. Yeah, I'm gonna start singing that song because honestly, like I'm gonna start to believe right there. I'm gonna drink that whole jar of Kool-Aid straight up if that happens.
We got 2 kind of tough away games here, right? Like this is not super easy to go to Charlotte. They are in some good form. They have been a bogey team, and then we got Cincy away right after on Saturday. So this reminds me, Luis, of when we had to go. Like going to Cincy on Saturday is like when we had to go to Seattle or Salt Lake, like right after playing a Wednesday game, right? Like that's not going to be easy. And I think if we get a win out of this one, Saturday is what it is, right? Like I think give them a good game, but if we lose, we will probably everybody had this down as an L that game, right? If you're looking at Oscar's plan for the rest of the season. In fact, that's something I want to say about St. Louis. When we were planning this, Paula, right? I think
we were thinking of an L here.
Yeah, I had like optimistically a draw against St. Louis. So we're a W up there, right? Cincy, maybe we can steal a draw, but if that's an L, fine. But this Charlotte game, definitely winnable, right? So I think let's try and max out what we can out of this game, and then I wouldn't be mad if Oscar sort of like it happens sometimes when coaches they save the rotated squad for the game that they know most likely they're gonna lose, right? And that's sometimes tactical. Like if it was me, I'd put my best team out against Charlotte, try and win this game against Charlotte, like get the W, and then Cincy, give them the best we can, but don't risk guys for injury because this is the problem, right? We're talking about Antonio, we're talking about Jensen. This is the point in the season where if we lose him for a month, that affects our run in playoffs. That affects everything. So we got to be careful, especially with our center backs. Like
so that's why
every year to us, Luis. And if they get something now, it could end the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's why they're having Jensen do their own workout.
Yeah, no, he's learned. Everyone else. He knows with those guys that you have to be careful.
Yeah, Anthony Solis, kind of a side question. Could Orlando make the Champions Cup again? I mean,
yeah, it's actually quite likely if we end up high in the table because
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, there's so many. So, Paula, you know about how many there are for.
I think they have to be like. Yeah, I think they have to be like second, ending in the standing, or be the MLS Cup champion. Obviously, that's a ticket to the Champions Cup.
We can do it, guys.
We can do it definitely.
But like a bunch of scenarios, right? Like if that happens, team makes it because of this reason, and this team makes it because of this reason, then it keeps bumping down, and eventually it would get to us pretty quickly.
So, I don't remember why Austin FC got into the Champions Cup last year. Well, this year technically.
They were in the MLS West Cup playoffs, I want to say.
So we can be in a playoff game, and probably.
Well, we can get there even just in third.
Yeah, there's
because the
a
likes
10%
of
chance probably that we can
like
make it to the Champions Cup again.
Cincy, are probably going to qualify. Philly will
Oh yeah, that's
qualify
for
if they're
sure.
still up there. So it's very likely that if we stay where we are, we will actually end up qualifying.
Anthony Solis, if Karen and Pareja, I mean, probably he means if Karen Pereira, number 10, leave in the winter, should we prioritize a attacking midfielder or a different position for a DP?
Well, Pereira's not leaving in the winter. He has one more year with us. We could
I think
go.
Kara, we need a big name.
Yeah, if Kara leave,
We need a big name 9.
what should you do, Luis? Like, what big name would you buy if you were the
Romelu
owner?
Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku. Come on. Ven acá. Ven
I
aquí.
mean, I would actually kind of like that, to be honest.
Or Tammy Abraham. Ven acá.
Sorry, Abraham. Like, he's too young, surely.
Or Lewandowski, Robert. You're a little old, but
Lewandowski, I like that one.
yeah, no. But I mean, we need a having that Daryl DK vibes again. You know what I mean? Or maybe even Daryl. If he wants to still froggy
I
and
won't
He's a bit
pick him up
injury
again.
prone.
yeah, he's a little bit injury prone right now, right? So
Mhm.
you had enough. I think Orlando needs that prolific 9. I mean, maybe 30 years old will be my top 32. That'll be the oldest. Somebody
So here's my thing. I would actually go for either. I don't know. It depends whether we feel Mauricio's got another good year in him, or
That's
whether
what I'm
we need
saying.
to replace that position. I think that is a key position for us. I also
Correct.
think it depends with Ojeda. Like, how does he fit in? Because he's one of our DPs right now that, I don't think he's
Comes off
going
the bench.
anywhere. But like, we want a DP off the bench. So I think if it was me, I would bring in a DP and I would find a way to play Facu and Ojeda on the wings, and I would bring in a DP 10.
Yeah.
Like, I think
agree.
you can figure out how to get Ojeda. Like, I love
Mhm.
Angulo, but he has games, where he isn't the greatest, and I think that he's not untouchable in that position. So I think Ojeda should be trying to get in on the wing. I don't think he's the 10 for us. I think we've seen that, right? So if it's not Mauricio, who is it? And that's why we're talking about Junior filling in at times. Or maybe it's Dagger Dan, Maybe it's Dagger Dan.
No, but it'd be great to have like a prolific number 9. You know what I mean? And I think it could happen. You know what I mean?
I think the thing with Duncan is he could very likely go next summer. So I think regardless, you have to be accounting for that to happen, which could be getting a 9.
That's right. I agree. Let's read some more comments. And Lynn scored 15 goals last night with OCB. Victor
He is
Sanchez.
tied for Golden Boot right now at the top of MLS Next Pro.
Joshua
15
Tall.
goals.
Facts. It's time to get revenge on Charlotte. Says, hey, if Orlando beats St. Louis, it can beat Charlotte. Says Victor Sanchez. I'm glad we played Jacqueline. Haven't been able for him to play. For the 9/24/23 game against wannabe Miami, make sure you get there early. There is a big concert in Camping World Stadium. Colombian singer Karol G concert is sold out. Oh, Karol G, La Bichota. Oh, man.
Paula's salsa right there. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to that concert.
To that
Really?
concerto. Hey guys, my Spanish is really good.
No,
all
but you
right?
said
Don't
it
be
the right
laughing.
way. No, I'm laughing.
Getting really. Paula was
I'm-
laughing at me at the tailgate.
I'm laughing because I didn't expect you to say concierto. That's why I'm like, I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got all the Spanish words.
Is learning. Karol G, man. Karol G. Anthony Solis, I'm laughing over this center back issue. I mean, it is the story of our life when it
For
comes
real
to
though, if Janssen doesn't play,
yeah,
who is playing next to
Kibu,
somebody tell me.
Kibu.
I think who else plays a lot for OCB backline? I mean, it's Thomas Williams. They have other center backs that play a lot. For OCB.
Well, they used to have Hackenberg.
Yeah, he's gone, but not this season. I think I think Gucci could be the guy. Like he's got the
Yeah.
size and he's quite fast and he scores a lot of goals from set pieces. Paulo, you would
Yeah.
like that. You get up in the air in the box. So I don't know. I could also see Kyle Smith filling in a role there. I don't
No
want to see
way.
that, but I could see it
I
happening
mean,
if an
he has
emergency
played.
situation.
I
He
forgot
has in an
what
emergency
game he
situation. Kyle
played.
Smith
Well,
can
this is
do
an
it.
emergency situation, John.
Well, it
Like-
shouldn't be. We should have 4 center backs. It's not hard, is it? Have 4 center backs who could play center back. Come on.
So talking about OCB, OCB just came from winning 4-1 against Columbus Crew 2, right? A phenomenal game, I believe, from the whole entire squad, and Wilfredo Rivera finally scored. That's another player that we haven't seen in the first team, right? That has a lot of
Once.
potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a lot of potential, but he scored a golazo, so happy for him. He has that lion tattooed, you know what I mean? So he's very identified with the culture of Orlando. Great game also. Thomas Williams started as well, and that ties into and also Orlando did this, Orlando City at their game. So, obviously everybody was very happy for the win for the boys, right? OCB, Abdi Salim, all the guys.
He had that
Juninho.
horrible penalty shot. That was terrible.
Yep. But Fabian Loyola, which we've had in our show, I had the pleasure of interviewing him. Outstanding young man, huge future. Underwent successful surgery to remove a blood clot. So they are all showing his support for Fabian. So we hope to have him back here at the program soon. So hopefully he gets better and get well soon. You know what I mean? So. But definitely exciting how this OCB team is playing too. Look,
Shaq Mohammed got another goal.
yeah, Shaq Mohammed.
Some of these guys, remember, we forget that they are actually signed to Orlando City first team contracts. They're just playing OCB, like Shaq Mohammed, Abdi Salim, Wilfredo Rivera. So any of these guys can be called up whenever you want to. They're still in the race, right, Luis? They're back up.
Yeah, they're back in the race.
They're back in the race. They're not too far away. They're up there on 40 points. They're in a sort of playoffs. I don't really know how it works over here. When playoffs are for MLS Pro, but hopefully they can end the season on a high.
And it's good to see Alex Freeman also having an assist. He did it for Wilfredo's goal in the 39th minute.
So they play Crown Legacy on Sunday,
which is
and that
very tough
actually
team.
is one of the last OCB games. That one, and then one more time at the end of September. Against,
is that their last?
FC
Is that their last
Cincinnati.
home?
There's
Is
their
that their
last
last
two home games. They got 4 games left, 2 home games only. So this Sunday and Sunday, September the 24th, which I think we might be busy. I don't know if you guys know, but we think we might be busy that day. So really, if you're not going to go see Messi, go watch OCB. There you go.
Why would you schedule?
No, sad for that. I mean,
I'm telling
that's
you,
the last game of the season. That's a real killer. Like
Don, come on, Don.
The attendance is not great. I've been to a few.
Come on, Garber.
It's like 500 people, but there's really going to be nobody that day.
I think that game is gonna get moved. The Miami game against us.
Because
you
of
think
the
so?
final.
Yeah, they did it for
Open
us.
Cup
Why
final.
they're not gonna do it for Inter Miami?
I mean, they'll do it.
Oh, that's right.
If Messi would just ask him to move it because he wants to go to a wedding or something, he'll probably move it.
Exactly. This is Messi.
Come here, little baby
It's
Messi.
because Busquets, grandma has to go to Spain for a wedding, so we got to move it.
Come here, little baby Messi.
Even though I'm gonna be in Puerto Rico for a wedding. I'm going into a plane at 2 a.m. to get into that game.
Yes.
Wow, that's
to get back here, right? You're not missing that
commit.
game, right, Paula?
I'm not gonna miss it.
You're gonna come with your dress on.
I'm worried. Someone said in the chat about all the Miami jerseys that game. I'm worried there's not going to be enough Orlando City fans
Purple.
that game. I'm worried that every Orlando City fan has sold their ticket, and it's
I
going to be
have
all Messi fans. Like, look what happened in the Red Bull Stadium. Like that is
It
a
was
very
pink.
real possibility for us, and
we
I
cannot
I hate the
honestly,
idea of that.
as the Kings of Florida, as the best team in Florida, and as a team that has gone through the history that we have, we do not deserve that. And I'm saying it right now. If
We
you,
do not.
we don't deserve that. That goes against every single, like, it goes against the past, it goes against the present, and it goes against the future of this club. Please don't do that. I mean, obviously you're free to do whatever you want, but I just feel like it will be honestly disgusting in our own home turf, people booing Orlando. Like,
I mean,
I will,
it
I don't know what
shouldn't
I'll do with
happen,
myself.
Luis. We shouldn't. I'm worried that game is going to feel like it's in a neutral stadium, even though it's not,
Yeah.
and that is going to be not fun. To be honest, I just want the wall. Like, let's keep one area without the
Yeah,
pink
the wall,
jerseys and
and
the
I have
Argentina
full
jerseys.
faith.
I hope they'll do it to keep the wall.
And not only that, some of the people from, I mean, I'm gonna say because I saw them doing crazy stuff at the Drive Pink Stadium when I went over there. Some of the Inter fans from the whatever called Vice City, Grand Theft Auto, whatever it's called, that thing. Honestly, they behave. I mean, they're a little rowdy. You know what I mean? So I have a feeling that they're gonna try to start something, and let the cops handle it, guys. Don't get into, you know what I mean. Don't get into physical fights. It's gonna make,
Stupidity.
yeah. Let them be. I'm gonna say this. Let them be dicks. I mean, if they want to be that, let them be. Try to avoid confrontation in all way, shape, or form. Don't be like trying to be like this is like a Celtic Rangers game. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a Liverpool Man United game. You know what I mean? This is Orlando City.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something happens at some point, Luis. I
Yeah.
think it's just when you get that many fans that close together because they're all over the stadium, right? It's not like this is why in Europe we have away sections. Is to keep everybody safe and happy, right? But we've just got all the fans mixed in together. So people got to be sensible, and sometimes alcohol and people aren't sensible. So I think that's something the club has to watch out for. I think it's, I'm sure they'll be aware of it. And in the wall, especially, and that's why it needs to be out of there, but all around the stadium, right? Like I've seen, altercations happen in lots of different places that you would think, oh, that's just a really, calm, regular parts of the stadium, but people can get upset from all parts of life. Not what you would typically think, right? People think like, oh, this is the kind of supporter that might get annoyed and start something. It's not always those kind of people. Sometimes it's just your regular everyday person that gets annoyed.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there's gonna be, hopefully it's a great game. And a win for Orlando will be fantastic. Look, if it's a win for Orlando, I'm gonna party that day. I will party. I promise, because it's like such a stress relief. Finally beat these guys like straight up, and I'm gonna go to my other podcast. I'm gonna be like, you see, guys, yeah, so you guys need to stop this messy stuff, man. But anyways, just to end the show today, I appreciate everybody that was watching the show today. If you're listening, thank you so much for your support. We'll also want to do the team match day. Facundo Torres made it.
I was gonna do Pride for 5 minutes because I finished go to this game and I had some thoughts. Sadly, we watched the Pride lose 2-1 to the San Diego Wave. It was a return to Exploria Stadium for Alex Morgan, which I booed her several times. I'm not a big Alex Morgan fan. I'll say that right up front. The kids in front of me in the Alex Morgan jersey didn't understand that I didn't like Alex Morgan. They couldn't understand why not, but I have my reasons, so that's all I'll say. I think overall, Luis, it was a shame, this game, because, the first half was they started well, then we kind of grew into the game. Nothing really, we were able to get through the first half 1-1. Then the second half comes, we're all over them. We are chance after chance. We got all of our assets out there, and we just couldn't get the goal. And they had one, I think, pretty much like one chance in the second half. That was, that corner, and they get the goal from the set piece, and that's all it is. And it's 2-1, and it really felt like we let at least a point, maybe even 3 points just go on this one. I gotta say, I wasn't super impressed with Messiah Bright this game. Usually I'm loving her, but there were some times when she was walking, and I don't know if that's acceptable, but I don't think it's acceptable for you to be walking. There was one time when they started an attack, and she's the striker, and the attack was going on ahead of her, and she wasn't running to get into the play. So I don't know whether she's tired or what, or they need to figure out, how to get somebody maybe next to her. She's just often seen as kind of quite isolated. But this wasn't her best game. I think overall there were some good performances. Marta looked really good. I think Adriana on the right wing, with the header, she looked really good. Larroquette coming off the bench, maybe is one that potentially could see more minutes as a starter. I think she looked very good. I can't say her name right. I know I'm supposed to roll my R, but I'm no good at it. Overall,
Villacorta?
Yeah, no, Larroquette.
Oh, Larroquette.
Yeah. I just can't do it. I think overall for this one, it was just as disappointing, Luis. After 3 wins in a row at home against a team that, if we'd have got this win, would have pushed us further up the table, and now I think those playoffs are looking a little bit more elusive, right? If we'd have got that win, we would have been firmly in there. Now we're 2 points off the playoffs, and we're going to have to do a little bit of work to get back up there. Next, we play or I can never say them. OL Reign, the Olympic Lyon Reign team that's out in Seattle on September 3rd. So hopefully they can do better in that game. But great atmosphere. I will say that at the Pride game. Great atmosphere. Biggest attendance, I think. They got that Alex Morgan bump. I think it was like 7,000. So good to see that. Not the greatest performance.
Are you serious?
Half.
People just went to see Alex Morgan.
I mean, it's always like that in the NWSL, man. You get these stars that just they the US stars, people will go. I saw like several people in San Diego wave jerseys with Morgan on the back, like 10 or 20 kids at least. So
Wow.
It happens a lot. But overall, the Pride is on the up from last year, for sure. Last year and the years before, they wouldn't even be close to playoffs. So
correct.
This is a big push from them at the end of the season, and maybe they can clinch playoffs. And I would love to go to a Pride playoff game at home. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
I don't
fantastic.
think has there ever been a Pride playoff game?
We should pack it.
I'm trying to think about that. I don't think there
don't
has ever been a Pride playoff game.
Count me in.
That's a sad fact, but if there is, we're all going for sure.
Yeah, we should pack it. We should pack the stadium, and not only that, like Julie Dahl is playing amazing on the wing. Haley McCutcheon,
Cariabello is looking great. I mean, it wasn't that we were playing badly, Luis. That's what killed me.
Yeah, see, that's Haley right there.
We let the points go here. We should have won the game. That's what's annoying.
Orlando was the better team, obviously. And like look for the H of Marta to do this type of play. Like look at that, man. Just like boom, goal right there for Adriana, right?
Great header by Adriana.
Great header, yeah. I mean, I think the Brazilian connection there, it's definitely working. It worked so well for Orlando. Emily Madrill as well, very safe. So I was kind of in a way disappointed too for Orlando to lose this game, but they gave their all, and hopefully people keep supporting the Pride, because I think they deserve it. I think they deserve it wholeheartedly. Let's read some comments here. It says, I know for sure people walking on the wall with Miami Messi jerseys are going to be walked out. Sitch Taylor, we can win Wednesday. Let's win again. 3 more points for the playoffs. Guys, be safe with the hurricane. I hope nothing happened. Yeah, so I want to
everyone be safe.
I want to tell everybody, be safe. If you have a 7-Eleven card, make sure you get 11 cents a gallon. the free advertising for 7-Eleven. You know, you can save the 11 cents to your gallon.
Tax
So
free at PetSmart. You know, Petco. Go get your dog food tax free. There you go.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Good. Hey, I gotta get my dog too. Man, you're
There you
right.
go. Don't
And I
forget
got
your dog's food.
fill
You
up,
know,
fill
that's
up, fill
important.
up, fill up your propane too. Right.
Oh, here we go. We're just gonna list all the classic hurricane things to end the show.
I,
Lock up your
listen,
windows, everybody.
Buy one get one free. Lighters. Publix. There you go.
I'm packed up because of the tailgate grill that I have. I have more little
You're ready to go,
propane gas.
Paula.
I'm ready to go.
You're sorted. You got that propane grill and you got the burgers.
Yeah,
You don't
I
even
got-
need a house. You
yeah,
just live
I-
permanent tailgate life.
Do
And the
you- so-
Ryobi
so-
fan.
Yeah, you got the Ryobi, you got the cooler. You're sorted.
So you do that on your garage? You just hang out in your garage like with your
No,
friends?
probably
Tailgate the
no.
hurricane in your front yard. Do it.
With the canopy and everything.
And don't forget to go to the liquor store.
I'll come
There you
over
go.
That's
on
true.
my kayak.
Touche, Victor.
Yeah, I'll come by on my kayak and you can.
On your
throw me a
kayak?
beer. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I wish you guys to stay safe. It's been a wonderful episode today. If you're listening, again, support us. Listen to us. Drop us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Anything else you want to add, Paula, before you go?
Tomorrow, Tiro de Esquina, we're dropping a new episode. Last week episode, we recorded and the computer didn't save it. So that's why we talked for 45 minutes. Then when we were going to upload, we couldn't find it in the computer. So sorry, guys, but I promise tomorrow there's a new episode talking about Chicago game again that we already talked about, but I'm going to touch base on that and our last performance against St. Louis. So thank you for that.
John, anything you want to add, John?
No, just follow me on Twitter if you want some funny and interesting takes on Orlando City, and I look forward to seeing you guys all there against Cincy. No, not against Cincy. Sorry, against Miami for the next home game. When those of you who had sold your tickets better be there screaming and shouting for the boys.
For Orlando.
Vamos Orlando.
Vamos
And
Orlando.
vamos,
Guys.
Orlando.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.